Oh, hey, welcome to Small Talk, where our talks are anything but small. So grab your juice, wine, snacks, or whatever you need for tonight's topic. Hey. Oh, I didn't even have the mic in my hand. Why didn't y'all tell me I had the mic in my hand? That's crazy. Hi, y'all. Welcome back to Small Talk Podcast, where our talks are anything but small. Right? Okay, you heard. So, if you are new here, my name is Jay. I am the host of this podcast. And yeah, this is where all of our talks are anything but small. And you'll get to know why. Nothing bad, but we do have those uncomfortable conversations everybody kind of likes to avoid, or they poke around with like a light touch, Cool. If you are not new and you're returning, nice to see you again. It's really great to see you. But yes, so if you have noticed, I have done my hair and my makeup. Not too much on the makeup. We're getting there. We're working on the build, but I like this. I like this a lot. So yeah. So yeah, let's get started with today's episode. I'm nosy, y'all. Y'all have to get used to that. Anyways, so today's episode is pronouns, or it's about pronouns. And the title, as you can see somewhere, wherever you're watching this, either on YouTube or Spotify, is what's the title? Oh, my pronouns are Bud and Light. And if you know, you know. But that is what we're going to be talking about today, pronouns. And since that is our topic of discussion, I would like to say, first and foremost, as your host, I am non-binary. I don't believe I've ever mentioned this in a video before or any of my podcast episodes. So if you don't know me personally, you most likely wouldn't have known. And maybe a few, if you have known me personally, you also may not have known. So I'm non-binary. That just means I go by they, them pronouns, even though I look very feminine presenting. Listen, I love getting dressed up. I love getting dolled up. I love getting my nails done. I love all of that. Like all the whole little good up, little feng shui. Love it. I personally just don't identify with he or she pronouns. Simple as that. I am me and that's it. Don't want any of the ties that come with those pronouns that society likes to place on people. Okay, cool. So, with that pushed to the side, let's get to like where pronouns are coming from. So, I kind of split this episode into about 4 parts, 3 to 4 parts. And the first part is, like I said, where are pronouns coming from? Like, it may seem to most people that it's starting in like I think 2016 and it's becoming a whole new rise, and the young generation, they always bringing up something new. If you couldn't tell, that's my grandma voice, not my actual grandma's voice. She doesn't sound like that, but like my grandma voice. Anytime somebody tells me to do grandma, I mean, nobody tells me to do a grandma voice. We're getting sidetracked. Anyways, that was my elderly woman voice. Okay, so with those people having this discussion, it's like, okay, where exactly did pronouns originate? According to Oxford Languages, pronouns are a word that can function by itself as a noun phrase and that refers either to the participants in the discourse or to someone or something mentioned elsewhere in the discourse. Examples are she, her, hers, he, his, him, they, theirs, them, and zer and zir. I think that's how you pronounce that last one. My apologies if not. We also have, I'm not sure if y'all have ever gotten a chance to watch Schoolhouse Rock when y'all were growing up, especially in elementary school. For me, it was very common in elementary school. Love those videos. I am a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Right? Okay. We love it, right? We love it. Schoolhouse Rock also had made a pronouns video. And their video was just describing how nouns and pronouns and other things are being used in it. I want to say it was like a whole grammar episode kind of thing, but they mentioned pronouns. And like, this is a cute little clip from it because love it, but not too much because copyright, right?
Now I have a friend named Rufus Xavier Sarsaparilla, and I could say that Rufus found a kangaroo that followed Rufus home, and now that kangaroo belongs to Rufus Xavier Sarsaparilla. Whew, I could say that, but I don't have to, cause I got pronouns I can say. He found a kangaroo that followed him home, and now it is his. You see, huh? He, him, and his are pronouns replacing the noun. Rufus Xavier Sarsaparilla, a very proper noun.
And a cute little example of what pronouns can be used for and used in and why we have them in our grammar. When I did the study of where did pronouns start, I had a hard time with finding out where exactly it pinpointed. There was a lot of information where you could say, okay, this possibly started here, this possibly started here. It's a lot. All I know is, hi, post edit J, previous J, kind of get a little confused with the information I was receiving at the time. So when I finally shifted through it, I was able to narrow down the sources to give a better understanding of the origin of pronouns. So pronoun or pronouns is a word used instead of a noun to avoid repetition of it. In mid 15th century, from Old French pronoun or pronom. Yeah, I took French class and I know I didn't say that right. And directly from Latin pronoun, that word. Word standing in place of a noun, from pro, here, meaning in place of, and nomen, name, noun, right? So originated from French and Latin wording, and it is from the mid 15th century. So we've had pronouns forever. Okay, cool. So I have the next slide, and the next slide gives the origin, of where gender neutral pronouns started. I'm going to read that off for you. It may seem that pronouns are a new thing, a 21st century thing, but they're not. In the 1800s, people were on the search for gender neutral pronouns. The search was popular amongst feminists who wanted to use gender neutral pronouns to eliminate social bias. This argument was further examined in the Daily Arkansas, y'all, Daily Arkansas Gazette in 1882. The quote says, "This time, the grammatical argument for a new pronoun is supplemented with an appeal to feminism. Why should it not be the duty of women's rights, women to supply the needed term? As the law of grammar now stand, the use of he when she may be meant is an outrage upon the dignity and an encroachment an encroachment upon the rights of women. It is quite as important that they should stand equal with men with the grammar as before the law. In the past, gender neutral pronouns were wanted to eliminate biases, or as an 1852 newspaper reported in the semi-weekly Eagle calls it, an invention of a new pronoun of the common gender, whereas today we have a broader understanding of gender, that it is fluid. So, pronouns have always been around. It's nothing new. They've been like here since we could possibly remember, obviously based on the sources I shared. So, what's the big deal as of right now? It's not so much that it is a big deal, but we have the reintroduction of gender neutral pronouns, right? And I say reintroduction because again, as my sources have said in the previous clip, they have always been there, kind of thing. Like, it's not something that is new. It's not, oh, it's what's this brand new concept kind of thing. No, it's always been there in certain forms. However, the use of technology has assisted in mass distributing a lot of information, from good to bad, from the ugly to sad, the truth, all of it. You get a lot of information that is spread, and you can basically have information from all the way across the world, in China and Russia and the Philippines, any type of information, and within the next hour. Honestly, as soon as you pick up your phone, as soon as you get a laptop, a computer, if you have access to the internet, you have access to global information, right? This means that gender neutral pronouns have become more of a widespread and more of an urgent conversation. There we go. Because of the impact technology has on it to spread that information a little bit further, right? Pronouns are now being used and being spread for. Oh, that was so sweet. Sorry, I got a message. You don't care. um. hmm. So, with the usage of technology, gender neutral pronouns have become a little bit worldwide, and then also the pronoun exchange that trans people go through when they are finding a more comfortable way to live within themselves. And it is a very interesting concept to see how different cultures and different societies around the world have participated in the reintroduction of gender neutral pronouns and gender exchange pronouns. Exchange gender pronouns. This is a term that I'm making up so that I can be very aware of what I'm saying, if that makes any sense. So please, someone tell me if I am using this incorrectly and if I'm offending anybody. I don't want to do that. This is the most appropriate way that I can think of to explain the trans process for everyone. Right? Okay, cool. Glad we're here. Glad we're here. Okay, let me continue. We have the introduction of both of these gender pronoun um, processes and different concepts, correct? Okay, cool. Everybody's getting used to this. But the idea of getting used to it is something that can be a bit challenging for most people. So I'm here to help have a little bit more of an understanding. So pronouns nowadays are a way to identify yourself and your gender. So for non-binary people, they, depending on how, what am I trying to say? Depending on their own personal reasons, majority of them are not wanting to adapt to the gender roles or the gendered pronouns of she and him, she and he. Those two gender roles for women and men. Okay, cool. We're here because they may not feel comfortable with it for whatever reason. Because I know for my reason, like I said earlier, it is I just don't see myself being put in a box kind of thing. I don't see myself as either or gender, and mainly because I don't want to be put in a box that society places over what you need to do as a woman, what you need to do as a man. Everybody has their own opinion. Since it's everybody's own opinion and it's not my own opinion as well, I'm non binary. Just perceive me as me. I am Jay, right? That is how I want to perceive how that is how I want to be perceived and how I want to further identify myself, right? So this same thought process can be applied to trans people. They are not comfortable and they don't identify with their original assigned gender at birth, but they may feel that another gender may be completely more comfortable. So someone who was born a male may go through some changes in life that they realize that it's not, this does not make my this is this words This does not make me feel comfortable. I don't like the way I am seeing myself. I don't like the way I feel. It's just psychologically my mind is not matching my body for some people. Now that might not always be the case, but for most trans people, it is a this is not matching who I am inside, right? So with that being said, pronouns are now being seen as a way to identify your inner you. So you perfect example, me. I'm non-binary, but I present very feminine. So most people automatically go to miss, ma'am, she, her, etc., kind of thing. And I don't mind it when it's strangers because you don't know me. Like I said, most people don't know that I'm non-binary, and that's cool because I don't really care if you care to know, but it's more so for the people that are in my life and I talk to on a regular basis. You know, I would like for you to use that kind of thing because that's how I see myself when I look in the mirror. I'm just Jay. I'm just Janelle, That's who I am kind of thing. And I don't mind it. I don't mind that at all. However, you have the cases of people applying the usage of gender pronouns for trans people to say, like, well, you don't look like a woman because in our society, women are so sorry. In our society, women are supposed to be delicate, supposed to be dainty, look like this. If you're anything other than soft, cute, and dainty, then they're like, okay, are you really a woman? You may get jokes growing up, you may get etc. going on, kind of thing. Like you can have a whole plethora of things going on and being bullied about because you don't look like the typical woman, right? Same to go for men. Men don't it's a patriarchal society, but men still have issues too. They still face trauma and still face societal issues as well, especially when it comes to gender based issues, right? So for them, if you're not looking manly enough, if you're not looking burly or broadly, like you have to have muscles, you got to be defined, like you got to look intimidating. You're not a man. What's to say a man? What define that? Because you have women that don't like the muscly part. You don't muscly part. The muscly body type. You may have women that like more of a dad bod. You may have women that like more of a skinny swole kind of guy. Like it's so many different types of bodies out there that you can absolutely love on, and different people have different preferences. So to say, oh, you don't look like a man because of X, Y, and Z is based off of the societal definition of what these roles, these genders, and need to look like and have their roles for them, kind of thing, right? I guess that concept that is you're supposed to look a certain way for your pronoun is not just classified or secluded to just the she, him pronouns. You also have, at least when non binary people first became new to me, I, around like 2018, 2019, I was kind of like under the impression that in order to be non binary, you need to look androgynous. And there was for a good minute when I started to question my identity myself and like, figure out if I wanted to be non binary or not. And if that really resonated with me, I had what is it? Kind of like a complex, not a complex, what's the word that I'm thinking of when you have a dysphoria, gender dysphoria, because I was comfortable with being seen as non-binary, going by they them, no longer following the she her pronouns anymore, and feeling free in what I could do as just myself. But then when I went and started following more non-binary people and then looking up non-binary activities or anything like activities, but like in the gay community they always have events and stuff, and especially if you're like first coming out, you want to go around your people to see what it's like, right? And participate together. Stuff like that. Because they don't have non-binary. Well, do they? Maybe they do. Maybe they have non-binary, what's it called? Events? Activities? What would that be? Anyways, moving on. During that process, I was realizing, or I had assumed, because me and my mom had a great conversation of like, what actually does non-binary mean, especially if you're going based off your own definition, right? So for me, non-binary is just, I don't fit in with everybody else. I don't fit in with what society tells me I need to be if I'm going by these genders. I am me, and that's it. Okay? Period. At the time, I was thinking like, you have to be androgynous because I like being more femme. Like, people are gonna be like, oh, you're not non-binary. And I actually had that a couple of times, and I'm like, what is that? What? why would you why would you even question that? Why would you even question that? Please. Please. And so now I'm comfortable with, regardless if you care or not, to like respect my pronouns or whatever and actually use them. That's cool. Down for it. Not a problem. Don't care. At that time, it was like very heavy on, you gotta use them, more so to have reassurance on myself. But at this point, I don't care. But we don't have all those kind of people like that. And those people that do know those pronouns and yet still disrespect you are kind of like my favorite people. Okay? Because there's a difference between you learning and you trying, and then those people that are purposely trying to like get under your skin. So we're going into the last little part of the body of this episode, and I'm actually really excited about this, and this is my favorite part because we get to look at some conservatives. Fun, right? Okay, so it's completely understood that you are not comfortable with going out and using not gender neutral pronouns, or you're not quite comfortable with the usage of pronouns in general, or you're completely working on it, but it's taking you some time to get used to it and make it like a second habit kind of thing. That's completely understood. In my opinion, as long as you're trying, you get an E for effort. You know what I'm saying? That's the best that you can do. Try to at least respect everybody, because at the end of the day, it's respect, right? Cool. But then there are some people, like I was saying earlier, that they know, they understand, they're hearing you, or at least they appear to be hearing you explain the whole process of pronouns, and yet they continue to disrespect you, right? So in this little portion of our video, we're going to go through some of my favorite little videos of conservatives and their reaction to pronouns.
Oh, what a cute baby. What's his name?
Her name is Sarah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. Hi, baby girl.
She's beautiful. Thank you.
Hi, it's good to see you again.
Yeah, hey, Brenda. Nice to see you again.
Who's she?
His name is Sam.
Hey. Is she staying for dinner?
Yes, he is.
I'm sorry, but you keep saying he. She keeps saying he.
Yep, his pronouns are he, him.
That's a girl.
I'm not, actually.
I'm sorry, this is way too confusing. She looks like a girl. You look like a... Janet, come here. Does she look like a girl? Is she a girl?
Actually, you know what? On second thought, we're not gonna stay for dinner. Have a good night.
What the heck is a pronoun? I'm like, I'm tired. My pronoun is sick and tired of these pronouns.
One of the most fascinating things happening in politics right now is Republicans thinking they don't like pronouns. They started off disliking the concept of changing your pronouns, but now the Republican Party has fully tricked itself into thinking they dislike the linguistic utility of a pronoun.
Well, I'm Ted Cruz, and my pronoun is kiss my ass.
They bringing pronouns into our military.
And my pronouns pronouns are I won.
Former congressional candidate Laverne Spicer even claimed that there were no pronouns in the Constitution. The literal first word of the Constitution is a pronoun. This culture war stuff is robbing Republicans of the ability to think rationally, and yet they're still wondering why that red wave never happened.
I thought Republicans didn't believe in pronouns.
So, as you saw in a couple of the videos, you can see how they are ironically using pronouns correctly in their mockery of pronouns, like my pronouns are bud and light. In my opinion, if someone came up to me and I'm like, hey, my name's Jay, I use they, them pronouns, and they're like, oh, really? They, them pronouns? Crazy. I don't even know what that is. You look like a girl. Yeah, I know. So, but I still use they, them pronouns. Like, I know what I look like, but my pronouns are they, them. Oh, well, well, then my pronouns are Pixar lamp. Okay, cool. So, hey, this is this person I just met. Their pronouns are Pixar lamp. What? Why are you using those? I look like a man. I'm a man. You just said your pronouns are Pixar lamp. I'm confused, like, are your pronouns Pixar lamp or not? Like, is it he, him, or is it Pixar lamp? Whichever one it is, I'll use it. Just let me know. So, them mocking it in their whole argument on pronouns, which I completely don't understand. Genuinely, it's not hurting anybody. And in my opinion, as long as nobody's getting hurt, no beings are getting hurt. So, like plants, animals, purposely getting hurt. Like there are accidents, but I'm talking about purposefully at this point, or they're not hurting themselves. I don't care what you do. I'll respect it. You come up here and tell me, hey, Jay, my pronouns are cardboard and box. All right, cool. I would like to know, how did you come to this decision? Not this decision, but like this identity. Like, where's your mind? I just want to know. Like, bro, you identify as a cardboard box? I love it, but like, what's going on in there? Like, what do cardboard boxes think about? Like, how do you resonate with a cardboard box? I need to know in my head, because it's just like, that is dope. That is so dope. Do you just go around and get stepped on a lot? Like, is that what that is? Is that you get folded a lot? Like, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. But like, if you're actively hurting someone, perfect example, Caitlyn Jenner. I despise her. Not because she's a trans woman. Absolutely not. That has nothing to do with me. I don't care what she got going on. I despise the actions she has on the outside world. I hate her opinions. I hate anything that she touches. Like, that whole entire family, toxic. But like, her specifically, she has a... Where's the sound? She has a DUI and a hit and run for hitting someone, for running someone over. She should be in jail. And it's twice. Not once, but twice. So, don't get me started on that. Got a little loud. But those people, back to the topic. Those people that have a hard time understanding pronouns and understanding what's going on in the world, and like, oh, this is not making any sense, and I'm not gonna use pronoun. Back in my day, are the same people who would get upset if you don't use sir, ma'am, miss, mrs, or mr, or miss in their sentences, like when you're talking to them. They're the same people who will have a whole hissy fit if you mistakenly call them like, oh, if you're like Russian. I used to I need to stop saying stuff like that. I used to work at Chick-fil-A, right? And so when you're in a rush, for me at least, I be in my head because I got to think of the next step. So I'm just going, I'm going. And there's been a couple of times where I've accidentally like, oh yeah, here you are, sir. And it's been a whole woman. Like she identifies. She's like, oh no, it's miss. It's ma'am. It's ma'am. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Like it's literally a full house. Your pronouns are the least of my worries. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But I corrected it and I apologize. I called you sir when the last 5 people have been men to me. I'm so sorry, okay? I'm so sorry. But like there have been times where I like literally genuinely have been like upset with myself because I I admit there have been times like where I've done it and I've looked at them and assumed their gender based on how they look. And I was just like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like I shouldn't have done that. Like I should be more aware to just be like, hey, how you doing? Don't even worry about it because you don't know what that person has going on, kind of thing. Just, hey, how you doing? No problem, got that for you. How you doing? And so at my new job, because it's a wax center, it's a little difficult because most people that come in do use she her pronouns and like identify as a woman and like full on assigned at birth kind of woman. So it's very difficult to go jump back and forth because I get used to just being like, oh, hi miss, hi miss, hi miss. So it's something that you have to consciously work on. It's not something that's an easy task, especially for someone who's non-binary, and I'm saying this. So it's a work in progress for everybody. And in my opinion, if you're working on it and you're respecting other people, that's all that matters. So as a wrap up, pronouns have always been here forever. Will be always forever here. They'll probably just morph into something else. Gender neutral pronouns, not that big of a deal. Like if they say they're they them, use they them. Y'all like to use it in stories when you don't want to mention you was with somebody, but you was with somebody. Yeah. Figure it out. 3, just respect the person as long as they are not hurting anybody or any other animal or being or whatever. As long as they're not hurting other people, you're good. Like just respect them. The pronouns isn't something to get that heated over. Nothing's being taken away from you. Nothing is being taken away from our society. It's just a word. What's so hard about saying it? And then 4, don't be like the conservatives we saw. Just don't. Please. Please. Because if you approach me and you're like, my pronouns are patriotic, you will get blocked in real life. I don't know how, but you will. And I'll figure it out. I will. I would gladly figure it out just for you. Okay? All right. So that is it for today's episode. Yeah. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, feel free to leave them in the comments below somewhere. Love to see it. And if you have any ideas on any videos that you would like to see, videos or episodes, let me just say that because we are also audio on Spotify. Let me know. You can DM me at _the_small_talk. Yeah, that's it. It would also be at the end of this. So yeah, bye.